everything you say, every thought that you think. The Most High allowed that to happen like that, so judgment can be pushed out. That's really with anybody, but just because Esau has so much pride, and you think you're untouchable, because the scriptures did say that. He said, I should not see the loss of children, I should not suffer widowhood. But the scriptures say what? You're gonna see all these things in one day. You see? So we just here to stir up your wicked mind by way of remembrance, man. Alright? Goddamn demon. Go ahead, bro.
Psalm 14:6. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge.
You have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Who are the poor that have a counsel that you're offended by? The hopeful elect, the men that the Most High had throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching the Bible. The Most High is our refuge, and another way that he knows that was in Messiah, the first chapter. Because what we say that the Most High is our Father. He's the deliverer of the elect of Israel. He is our Father. We are his inheritance. But when Esau say, well, this is the Most High's people, let's see if he's going to save them. But you know for a fact, man, that the Most High is our power, man. That's why your ass so butthurt. That's why you're offended. That's why you come up with all this shit to try to make us look bad, man. Shit that you ain't got no evidence that none of us did this shit, man. All these what the fuck is it? Anti-Semitic attacks. You don't got no proof that we doing none of that shit, because we ain't doing it. So you get somebody that looks similar to be like, yeah, got their ass now. Lo and behold, the evidence on that shit that came out. That's what we've been teaching through the Holy Scriptures, man. You cannot stop this fucking word, man. This word, man. Not this fucking word, but this word. And you can't stop the men of the Lord. The only way the men of the Lord are going to be stopped is by the Heavenly Father. And you're going to be hurt until then. Our counsel is going to offend you. Our works are going to offend you. The Scriptures are going to offend you. Hebrews 4:12, man. You know the Most High jack your ass up, man.
Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion.
Yep.
When the Lord brings back the captivity of his people.
Yeah, he's going to bring back the captivity of his people, man. As it says in the book of, I believe, I want to say Zephaniah, the 13th chapter. All right, where it says the Most High is going to turn back our captivity before our eyes. So this current situation that we're in as a nation, the Most High is going to turn it back, man. We're gonna go back to serving him as a nation. We're gonna go back to doing the things the proper way.
Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad.
Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Because righteousness is gonna be flowing through the earth. We ain't gonna have to worry about no wicked what's it, the father complaint, the children complain about. Righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and the wicked, all these different things, man. There's so many scriptures. It's going to give us many reasons to rejoice once our captivity is turned back, and then now the chains are on you. There's going to be a day that all Israel is going to rejoice. It says what? And also before that, it says what? About the destruction of Babylon, the other nations are going to clap, man. They're going to be excited. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to make that point. Yeah, you had something?
Yeah, this is Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And those strangers are Israelites, man. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel.
These people here on the sun. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the true children of Israel.
And set them in their own land. And
yeah, that's the kingdom of heaven, man. We're going to be set in our own land. All right, which, hey, the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. And it says that, and the proof is in the book of Revelation, where it says that the kingdom of heaven is going to come down. All right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And them strangers are the Israelites, the Israelite foreigners, man. Those that are not in the know. They're going to come back to their, they're going to have that word engrafted back in them, man. These are the same, because we're all one people as far as the Israelites. Let's get that clear. Now all people is Israelites, because you got Israelites that don't know they're Israelites or don't acknowledge it. That's what it's talking about, the strangers, man.
It says, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them into their place, and the houses, in the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Shall possess who? Shall possess who? Let's get Revelation, what's that? 13. You know, who are we going to possess, man, in the land? And that's another thing Esau, with that Bible, he took out everything that was concerning slavery. Captivity, bondage. Esau took that out, man. Because here it is, in America, people believe in karma, right? Which is what? Whatever you put out there is going to come back to you. But you don't want to believe what the scriptures say, and we have people that came up like that, man. Oh, how they gonna go into slavery and in the Bible, or how they gonna go into slavery?
How is that right?
How's that right? Yeah, you know. But ain't how y'all believe life is full circle? Don't everything come back to you? Bad karma, good karma. That's how they quote it, which is really just your judgment, man. That's how it is. The Most High didn't have it written in the book of Sirach for nothing, where it says, "By not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished." So whatever you did, it's gonna come back on you. Everything that you do, every sin iniquity that you commit, is coming back to you. You got that, bro?
Yeah. This is Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity.
Who was led into captivity? On a mass scale. These people on the side. We were led into captivity. By who? So-called white men. Yes, there were other nations as well, but this is who it's talking about. Esau, Edom. He led us into captivity, man. Treacherous captivity. Unbearable captivity. What does the scripture say? He forwarded the affliction. The way he handled Israel, you could tell the hatred that he had in his heart for us, man. And he did that because of what? The Most High allowed it, because we went off. But we're gonna get it though. We're gonna get it, man.
He that leads into captivity.
That's why it says that he that have an ear, let him hear, man. People gonna understand this word, man. I didn't know it was right there. Damn. Niggas, you see, you got a whole Jake that set up a business right here. They can't even keep the shit clean, man. They don't have no respect for their own fucking shit, man.
Revelation 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
No, that's not right. That's not right. That's what people say. He that goeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's plain and simple. That needs no breakdown. Captivity is slavery, bondage. And it's coming back on those who put the nation of Israel into slavery, man. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. As y'all believe in karma, it's really, like I said, it's judgment. That judgment's coming back on you, man. That's why Esau is doing everything under the sun to try to avoid judgment.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That's what we're waiting on, because we know that the Most High's word is faithful and true. So we know that captivity for you is coming, is about to be put upon you, man. That sword is prepared for you. The Most High got that sword sharp, waiting to take you heathens out.
Go going back to Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
So there's going to be a time where these heathen nations, especially Esau and Edom, they're going to be slaves to the nation of Israel. In the book of Isaiah, later on in this book, Isaiah the 60th chapter, it breaks down how the captivity is going to be. It says we're going to leave our gates open day and night, that they may bring in the forces of the Gentiles. So that captivity is coming back on you, Edom.
And they shall take them captives, who captives they were.
Yeah, right now we're, like the brother mentioned earlier, right now we're in the hands of the so-called white man. We're in slavery to this day, man. It says subject to payments, you know. Right now we're in slavery. But guess what? As the scriptures say, it's gonna be our turn, man. And we gonna do it in righteousness, you know. We ain't gonna do it the way you doing it.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
Yep, rule of our oppressors. Who are our oppressors? It's plain and simple. You can say his name again, but it's plain and simple. It's plain and simple. Who our oppressors are, man. Man, a heavy yoke of bondage on us. They don't care how old you are. As an Israelite, they don't care how old you are. They still gonna lay that yoke on you, man. And they do it, like I mentioned, they forward the affliction. Esau don't show no mercy on the nation of Israel, man. As the scriptures say, there shall no mercy be shown unto them.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
Yeah, this is what we're waiting on, man. This is the hard bondage we were made to serve. All right, this is the hard bondage that we're in, and we're gonna be rejoicing when the judgment comes, and we're able to actually relax in a righteous kingdom. Man. We don't have to worry about nothing except doing our job, you know, being men of the Lord. We're still gonna be men of the Lord. That's all we're gonna have to worry about. You ain't gotta worry about war. You ain't gotta worry about when your kids go outside. Is there any stray animals out there that can harm them?
You good? You okay, sir?
You know?
Yeah, you okay.
Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. Siege. The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
Which is their power, man. All right, the Most High, hey, that's why it says, wait ye upon the Lord. Because as much as we bring the scriptures out, and the scriptures are way more powerful than anything on this earth, we still got to wait on the Lord to bring Esau down, man. The Most High has an appointed time for these nations, or this nation of Edom, to be taken out of his power seat.
That staff being broken is them, when it says, art thou become weak as we, it's the other nations getting nuclear missiles or nuclear capability. You know, because just like all these other nations from Libya and all that, they didn't have that nuclear capability, man. You know, and that's how they are able to rule with an iron fist. You know, and they tried the same thing with Iran. But you see how Iran is reacting to all that bullshit that the U.S. is doing, and that's why they were so adamant in getting enriched uranium, and that's why America was so adamant in stopping them, because their power will be equally matched, because it only take one nuke, you know, and having an army. You know, those two elements make them just as strong as any other nation, or just as strong as Babylon. Because niggas are talking about our military forces do this, they do that. It don't matter. If the scriptures say everybody should point their arrows and shoot at her, you know, your missile defense system can't block everything. You know, but the scriptures say none shall miss their mark. You know, so the ones that the Lord ordained to hit is going to hit, man. Those millions of missiles are going to hit. They're going to land, okay?
Verse 6, it says, who smote the people with wrath, who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
Why? Because that's just judgment. All the evil that you brought upon the earth, all the different things that you're doing to bullying these different nations, the way you got your foot on the neck of the nation of Israel, ain't nobody gonna be complaining. Because you deserve it, man. You ruling in wrath. You move off emotion. You move with hatred. You move with hatred towards the nation of Israel, man.
And they move with hatred against everybody. You know, you put sanctions on everybody. You're not allowing people to live in their country in peace. The economy is basically ran by the American dollar, the American petrodollar, specifically. You know, you're colonizing all these countries, all these nations. You know, that's what the scriptures tell you. It was Isaiah. Was it Isaiah 54, Isaiah 47? No, not Isaiah 47, but it says basically that the nation have drunken up of wine, you know, and therefore the nations are mad, you know. So in Revelations chapter 18, it also says, you know what I'm saying? So you go ahead, you got something?
I was about to try to get it.
I'm talking about Yatzak. You about to say something?
I was just checking.
So basically, that's why the world ain't going to get involved. That's why the nations ain't going to get involved. Because, you go ahead, brother, I'm going to get into it. Nah, the nations are mad.
It's Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken.
Yeah, drunken with what? Their philosophies, the economy, the way the democracy, the structure, you know, the ways of life, the ways of thinking, the ideology. Okay? Their science. Okay? Their products, McDonald's, you know, things like that.
It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Yeah, they drunken of this petrodollar. They drunken of the way you colonize and the rules and at first they was making a lot of money, but then they start seeing how low the vibration it made their people, man. Yeah, bring McDonald's on and we can make hella money real fast by the way you're producing it. Everybody's getting obese or cancer, or, you know, you got people revolting and things like that. Yeah, bring your army in, we need your help. You know, and then now the people, they're like, okay, you can go now. You know, but they can't just tell you can go, because how we gonna sell our iPhones and sell our T-shirts and hats and vehicles, all right? So the nations right now are adamant at stopping Babylon from doing what they're doing, but when the transition happens, they're not gonna stop it, you know? So when America, which is Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, start going down, the nations aren't gonna stop it, man, okay? Sure, they're not gonna make any money, you know, as you messing up the drug spot, but I'm gonna be the kingpin now. So it's like, well, fuck it, or they think they are, okay? So let's get that Revelations, the 18th chapter. You had something?
Revelation chapter
Revelation, you at the top, bro?
Yeah, cut.
Revelations 18 and 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
Is that talking about spirits? It's not talking about spirits. Those devils are desert creatures, okay? Vultures, rattlesnakes, such on and so forth.
And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Yeah, and the reason why it's going to have those nations, or I mean those creatures, on his land, is because America is going to become looking like Saudi Arabia, the middle of the desert, man. Okay, well, only those type of creatures can live, man. No rattlesnakes and scorpions and, you know what, them rabbits, I forgot you call them motherfuckers. But, you know, such on and so forth, them desert creatures are going to only be the things that will be able to survive in Babylon, okay?
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19. In Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited.
Yeah, so the Lord, how did the Lord overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? Via fire and brimstone. What is a nuclear missile composed of? Fire and brimstone, okay?
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabians pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Yeah, and as we said, Iran is that area, you know, basically they're inhabiting it right now. So that's not talking about that Babylon, but when you go into Psalms, it tells you, it calls it the daughter of Babylon, okay?
Back in Revelations,
and it's mighty ironic that the beef is starting up between these, you know, Persian countries, man, you know, or in the Middle East, where Babylon was located, man, okay?
Back in Revelations 18:3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Yeah, what is fornication? Is basically adultery, you know, or you know, basically they forsook their ways. Just like I was watching a video, I think it was with the brothers in Seattle, and they had these women out there in it wasn't Kuwait, but it was around that area. They were Middle Eastern women, you know, probably Persian or Midian or whatever. But basically they walk around with their head covered, they had their face covered also. And they was like, yeah, but they had these beautiful women that had their faces uncovered, man. I'm like, they're like, yeah, well, we're fighting against it and we're revolting, you know. And I'm like, man, y'all just trying to be hoes, man. You know, y'all beautiful, so y'all, I see why you want to do it. You don't have nothing to offer outside of your mental, because later on in that documentary, the woman said, yeah, and the women have benefits. The men treat us like queens. But wait, based off the law, they treat you like this, but you don't want the law to cover your face too. You know, and that's the wine and the East Edomites walking around with them, because he was going around eating everywhere, spending $10 to eat everywhere. And he went there, and he was like, yeah, they carried me all the way through, and it was cool and this and that, because they with America, man. They've been Americanized. Got these women getting into pornos and shit, you know. They can't come back, you know what I'm saying? You know, you out here, you know, dressing all kind of ways. You can't come back, man. You're gonna get fucked up, man. Getting into Christianity, you get indoctrinated and come back to your land and try to, you know, push that on the people and shit, man.
You made yourself an outsider, so stay your ass outside. It says, in the merchants, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Yeah, that's right, because America is a consumer nation. It's a consumer nation. I must constantly repeat that. America's a consumer nation. They barely produce things, okay? They consume, all right? When you get them Nike shoes, when we get those Nike shoes, you know, when you get that car, you know, when you get all these products, all of it is made in China, made over here, made over there, you know? Even the prison systems, you know, everything that's supposed to be government made is like privately owned. Even when you go to war, them tanks that are made, that's not like America's making those tanks, man. You got private companies that are making those tanks and selling it to America.
Yeah.
and then they'll sell like a weaker version to another country to dictate who wins and who doesn't. You know?
That's why when that spat happened with Trump killing that guy over there in Iran, all the stocks to those companies that the brother was talking about went up because they knew that they about to start gadgeting it up for war.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues."
Yeah, those plagues, again, is those thermonuclear missiles, the destruction of Babylon. That's going to make it a barren desert. The Lord, in this particular verse, telling us to come out of her, is Him beaming us up on those chariots, man. You know, that strangeness of salvation, okay? That nobody looked for. People think it's going to be like everybody's going to hold hands like on the movie Us, you know, and you know, make a human chain to bring the world together. No, man. It's going to be a total separation. It's going to be the wicked of the world, Aishar Adamah, getting a foot up his hind part, you know, until it comes out of his mouth. You know, and then after that, he's going to be utterly destroyed. Okay? The nation's going back to their selected areas that the Lord said He set up borders, man. Through much wisdom, He divided the nations, man. All right? And He's going to divide those nations in purity once again, man, in its perfection. And then once they're divided, the land of Israel, which is going to be the Eden of the world, is going to govern the world, man. The whole world ain't going to... Chinese are not... Moab, which is Moab, is not going to go to China and go to worship Buddha, and we're going to leave them alone and check upon them. And, you know, you're going to be worshiping the Most High. You're not going to work on the Sabbath. You know? You're going to basically be keeping the law. You're not going to be eating pork and starfish and alligator and octopus and all these things. You know? You're gonna do what the Lord tell you to do, man. Okay? And we're gonna make sure that happens.
Yeah, he like, look, got his ass stupid. Ooh. hey, cause like we just seen we looked up the word govern and it said to steer or direct. He thought he was pulling over. Jake like, fuck that.
He didn't probably about to beat that nigga up.
But yeah, we had just looked like you said, Israel, the land of Israel, you know, we're gonna govern the world. And then the brother did a lesson, we looked that up, and it means, you know, one of the definitions was to steer, to direct it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no more having no motherfucking bat sandwiches and none of that shit, you know? All that is going out the window.
Shit, you know?
So I
barbecue barracuda and shit.
Barbecue.
Barbecue
sick ass. Isaiah 2:2 says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills."
Yeah, so read that again.
So the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, and verse 2, it says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days."
In the last days, okay? We're in the last days, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. The last days started when Yahawashi was crucified, but we're not at the end, okay? We're close to it right now, compared to, it's been 2,000 years after, okay? You can say 2 days, you know?
It says, "In the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains."
Yeah, and the Lord's mountain shall be established at the top of the mountains. Mountain means government. So our government is going to be higher than all the other governments on planet Earth. And then it's ironic that people, when we tell you these prophecies, people get mad and say, well, I don't think God will allow that, but you'll say God bless America, and America is ran the same way, but in utter wickedness. You know? That shows that you just don't want Israel ruling over you, man. You have a rebellious spirit upon you. Okay? You'll sit there, and that's mainly Jake. I don't think God will have that. Well, why are you loving in America? Because America is cure the wicked, but it's the mountain that sits above all mountains at this point, man. Like the brother said earlier, man, who you think is ruling the world right now, man? Who is the oppressor of the people? Okay, when we rule, we're not going to oppress. Well, we will be oppressing, but once we're finished with that trial period, everybody's going to live in peace, because you got to receive your punishment. Because just like we said, right now, when we tell you this is about to happen, y'all rebuke, y'all buck up against it, y'all burn Bibles, you come up against the word of the Most High, you come up against the children of the Most High, you allow the children of the Most High to suffer and under persecution and slavery and destruction of its sole enemy, which is Aisha, Adawam, you know, and you didn't do it, you turned a blind eye. So you got to get punished for that. And not only you did that, but you was confederate with them against us, as the book of Psalms refers to. Okay?
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
And all nations shall flow unto it. What is that? That's talking about you paying your 10th part, man. Because we're going to be a nation of priests. Okay? You're going to be giving your tithes, paying your tithes. And you're going to be happy to do so. Because unlike Babylon, we're not going to tax everything that you put your hands on. And you don't have enough to even survive. You got to get 2 jobs, and your woman got to have a job, and she got to have a side hustle. Kid got to go shovel snow. You know? That's Babylon, man. But in New Jerusalem, which is going to be within us, Yahawah, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when we rule, the people will rejoice because their resources are going to flow abundantly. So them giving us 10% is not going to hit them at all, but we will get the best of the best. We're not going to have to work and chop down the trees. Y'all just going to give it to us, man, and we're going to get the best of it. And it ain't going to hurt your feelings because you're going to have the best of it. You're not going to have the best. We're going to have the best of your shit, but you're going to have really good quality, you know? And you're going to have it in abundance. The man is going to be the head of the household in every nation. The woman is going to be a keeper at home. The kids are going to be serving unto their parents. All right? And if anything that happens outside of that, we hear, you know, Ammon out here tripping, man. They got a women's revolt going on. You know, we gonna come in there, land in there. You're gonna see that chariot come over your house. Land in there. You know, you're gonna see that chariot, and we just standing there outside your city, outside your gates. You know, by nightfall, and just turn around and leave.
Yeah, you already know. Get your shit together.
Yeah, you already know. It ain't even get your shit together. The judgment's been sent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just sit there and look. You know, the king walk up, you know, like the king did back in the gap when the prophet came. Tell me if it's good news or bad news. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have the keys of David to where if it's bad news, it's gonna be bad judgment. It's not like we